So, so we were discussing about normalization theory. So we were reviewing uh, the theory of normalizing database designs. So we have seen that this normalization theory is something which is related to the semantics of the data. And we have seen that databases are having semantics as well as syntax. So this is related to semantics, and we have seen that by uh, looking at a database design, you will not be able to comment on the amount of redundancy present. For that, you require the semantics. So the semantics of the data or the attributes are formally expressed by means of the concept of dependencies. So we have seen that there are different types of formal mechanisms by which we can express the dependency. One is functional dependency. And we have seen that four normal forms are defined based on the concept of functional dependency. That is the first normal form, second normal form, third normal form, and BCNF are all defined based on the concept of FD or functional dependency. So, and then we have seen that there are cases where the concept of functional dependency fails to, or not fails, actually, using the concept of functional dependency, one will not be able to normalize a table further because you find that there are only trivial functional dependencies in a table. All right. So trivial means something like A determines A, or the whole table determines itself. So in such cases, the concept of functional dependency is generalized into something which is called multi-valued dependency. That means the FD is generalized to uh, MVD, multi-value dependency. So an example is given here. There you can see that alpha, beta, and the rest of the attributes other than alpha and beta. And we see a tuple of, a set of alpha or tuples are associated with a set of beta. All right. And a set of alpha is associated with a set of other attributes other than beta. So in such cases, you don't find any FD. In this case, actually, the only FD that you find is alpha, beta, and the rest of the all attributes all put together determines the relation or the tuple itself. So let us see further on that. So this is what we have studied up to next the last class. So we use multi-value dependencies in two ways to test relations to determine whether they are legal under a given set of functional and multi-value dependencies. All right. So legality of a tuple, whether a tuple is present or not, is legal or not. For example, if you say that a teacher can take maximum 5 courses, and if there comes a sixth course or 7 courses on his name or along with the teacher name, then we can say that some tuples are going to be wrong. Because there is a rule that a teacher can, in a semester, he can take maximum, say, 5 courses. So if a student can register maximum 6 courses in a semester and the DSS, your name comes with 8 courses, then it is actually an error. All right, so that is some of the tuples are not legal. To specify constraints on the set of legal relations, we shall thus concern ourselves only with the relations that satisfy a given set of FDs and multi-value dependencies. All right. So if a relation R fails to satisfy a given MVD, we can construct a relation R dash that does satisfy the MVD by adding tuples to the relation or tuples to R. Relation R. So let us see an example here. So it is all about the, you can just see the table on the bottom corner, right corner. So you have some movies and their screening cities and the gene in, I mean, category or gene in which that particular movie comes. And you can see that in a city there are many movies being screened, and a movie can be screened in many cities. So the same movie, Hard Code, is screened in uh, two cities, and the city New York is having, say, two movies screened at present. Okay, and similarly, there every movie belongs to a particular category. That is, in comedy movies are there, dramas are there, horror movies are there. So if you look closely, you find that uh, this relation is in BCNF because we have only trivial functional dependency. That means movie, screening city, gene, general or genre determines itself. But you find two multi-value dependencies. That means movie determines screening city, and also you find that screening city multi determines movie. So all columns are part of the hierarchy. Hence, this is actually in BCNF. And many movies can have the same genre, and many cities can have the same movie. And let us see how what is the condition for the relation to be in 4NF. A relation is said to be in 4NF if it is in BCNF and any multi-value dependency that is existing in the table are trivial. So what we have to do is eliminate non-trivial multi-value dependencies by projecting them into simpler or smaller tables. So for a relation to be in 4NF, there should be only trivial multi-value dependencies. So look at another example. You have manager, child, and employee. There are three columns in this table, and it is given that each manager can have more than one child, and each manager can supervise more than one employee. So manager multi determines employee and manager multi determines child. So a manager can have many children and a manager can also supervise many employees. So there are two multi-value dependencies and it is not trivial. So in order to simplify this into 4NF, you have to decompose the table in such a way that there are only trivial multi-value dependencies. You can see one more example. So here you have employee, skill, and foreign language. So here it is given this is a whole key relation. That means there is only one functional dependency. Employee, skill, language determines itself. Similarly, here the only functional dependency in the first table is manager, child, employee determines itself. All right. So here each employee can speak multiple languages as well as each employee can have multiple skills. So there are two MVDs and they are not trivial. So this is not in 4NF. Now, in order to reduce or in order to normalize the table into 4NF, you have to divide the table in such a way that every multi-value dependency becomes trivial. So move the two multi-valued relations into separate tables. in order to reach at 4NF. So identify the primary key for each of the new entity. So we have the table movie name, screening city, and genre. So this can be divided into two smaller tables, that is movie name and screening city, and movie name and genre. So these two are in 4NF because there is only one multi-value dependency. Movie determines genre or movie determines screening city. All right. So this is, or we can say this is a whole key. If you talk about functional dependency also, this is the whole relation determines itself. But let us take the condition. Let us look at the condition that every multivariate dependency should be trivial. So in this way, this relation is satisfying the 4NF condition. Similarly, in this these two examples also, so we have manager multi-determines child. Manager can have multiple children, and a manager can have multiple employees. So you split them into two. So manager child is one table, and manager employee is another table. Definitely there are redundancy. The manager name will be repeated for every child of his or her. Similarly, the manager name will be repeated for every employee in which he is, where he or she is a manager. All right. Similarly, in this example also, we have two multi-value dependencies. Employees are having multiple skills and employee can know multiple foreign languages. So in this case also, you divide or decompose the table in such a way that the multi-value dependencies are trivial. So these new two tables, employee skill and employee foreign language, are in 4NF, fourth normal form. So this is actually the case with the fourth normal form. So here the condition is that if at all there are multi-value dependencies existing, that should be trivial. If you decompose the table in such a way, what you get is actually called the 4NF relations. So any questions on this? Any questions on this? Okay, we will just briefly see what is 5NF. We will study 5NF in detail later, but here just see that fifth normal form it is satisfied when all tables broken into as many tables as possible in order to avoid redundancy. Once it is in 5NF, it cannot be broken into smaller relations without changing the meaning of the table. So you divide the table to the maximum extent. You decompose the table to the maximum extent so that it cannot be decomposed further. Then what you get is actually called the 5NF relations. And if you decompose the tables further, you will be losing the semantics of the table. So here we will apply this in cases where even multi-value dependency fails to eliminate the redundancy. So the JD or joint dependency generalize MVD, multi-value dependencies. So this fifth normal form is also called project join normal form. So you project the main table into smaller tables and join them, right? So that is actually called the PJNF or 5NF. So a given table, so here the basic idea is that till 4NF, while normalizing, you will be dividing a table exactly into two tables, all right? So that non-loss decomposition of a table into two smaller tables, so that when you take the join, you get the original table back. But here in fifth normal form, you will be decomposing a table into more than two subtables. So there are certain cases where you cannot decompose a table into two subtables in a no loss decomposition fashion. But you will be, or you may be able to decompose the table into three smaller tables or more than two smaller tables. So there are, in such context, you apply the join dependency, and what you do is you project few columns of the original table and make multiple tables which are more than two subtables, and then join so that you get all the tuples of the original table back. So such tables are actually described to be in 5NF. So in 5 normal form, what you do is you divide the table into more than two subtables so that finally you will not be able to decompose further without any loss of data. So a relation is in 5NF if every joint dependency in the relation is implied by the keys of the relation. All right. So a relation is said to be in fifth normal form if every JD, joint dependency in the relation, is implied by the keys of the relation. So this implies that relations that have been decomposed in previous normal forms can be recombined via natural joins to recreate the original relation. So that is actually the point. When you take the natural join of these tables, you will be getting the original or the master table back. So here the point is that in cases where you cannot go for a non-loss decomposition of a table into two subtables, you can think of decomposing into more than two, where if non-loss decomposition is possible in such a way that when you take the natural join of these tables, you get the master table, all the tuples of the master table back. All right. So actually, I will show you. I mean, we will see. We'll have an example for 5NF later. We will be revisiting 5NF again later. Any other questions on this? Are you hearing? Anyone, please respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, no problem.
So 4NF is based on multi-value dependency, and here the condition is that in the table there should be only trivial MVDs present. And in 5NF, the condition is that all the joint dependencies are implied. Yeah, a relation is in 5NF if every JD, joint dependency in the relation, is implied by the keys of the relation. Or every JD should be in the form of a dependent functional dependency. So it implies that when you take the natural join, you will get the original table back. Now, looking back at the normalization concept, as I was mentioning earlier, normalization is performed to reduce or eliminate insertion, deletion, or update anomalies. So there comes anomalies due to data redundancy. To reduce that, you are introducing, or we have seen that the concept of normalization is introduced basically to deal with the anomalies. However, completely normalized in a completely normalized database, it may not be efficient. A completely normalized database may not be the most efficient or effective implementation. So when you are trying to concentrate or focus only on redundancy and only on reducing the redundancy by way of splitting the table into smaller tables. So you will be sacrificing or you will be doing it at the cost of less efficiency of the table. So in such cases, people talk about denormalization to improve the efficiency. So can anyone say what is being affected or how it is becoming uh, inefficient when you go for higher normal forms? Abhinijit? Abhinijit is absent.
So, when we try when we do the normalization, we split the table into multiple tables, but for the actual web application, we may require all the rows together. So, for means the further we break down the tables, the further we have to join the again in order to get the data that we want.
Okay. May I know who is speaking? I'm not.
Arthur,
Arthav. Okay. Yeah. So what is happening is, as you know, I think Chetana is saying that, okay, there are some messages. Let me check that. Okay, lots of join will require Chetana is saying that query will become complex. Yeah, Chetana. Rocky is saying that how denormalization improves efficiency. That is the question. Yeah. Okay. So my question is still remaining. What you have said is correct. Lot of joins may require. What Chedana told is correct. But where exactly these joins are increasing, or in which context? Amit, where these joins are increasing? Amit Nagar Koti. Amit, quickly, please respond quickly. No response. Ajwad,
Sir, the number of tables will be increasing.
yeah, where the number of joins are increasing? When?
No idea, sir.
Yukta,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Can you answer this?
So because number of tables will be increased to access any particular data of a
Yeah,
primary
my
key,
question is in which context?
when we need to access any data. Sir.
Can you make it little more clear?
Like if we need any particular detail of a primary key, then we have to search for all the
Yes, also.
tables.
Yeah. So while query processing, while doing the query processing or while query handling, you have to do a lot of joins. So what Yukta told is about search. A search is nothing other than a query. So we have seen in the first class itself that querying a database is actually the most important operation, or query or search is the most frequent operation. So while querying or while searching in the database, you are forced to take a lot of joins. So join is going to be a very costlier operation, and that will make your database slower. That is why it is called what do you call? It is inefficient in terms of the speed of processing the data. So as I was telling, in the railway reservation database, some of the data or some of the data regarding a particular train is stored in Trivandrum, and few columns are stored in Chennai, and few other columns of the same table are stored in Bangalore, while answering a particular query, you have to take the join of the table in Trivandrum, Chennai, and Bangalore. Maybe the query has come from Bhopal. So in the Bhopal server, you have to transfer these three subtables from Trivandrum, Chennai, and Bangalore, and then take a join and then answer the query. So all these things will complicate and it may delay or it may slow down the database as such. So that is actually the problem with the normalization. So sometimes you may have to go back or you may have to denormalize. That means from 6 tables, probably you may go back and make it 4 tables, something of that kind. That means probably from 4NF, you may go back to 3NF, or you may go back to BCNF like that. So even if you, I mean, you will be affording little bit of redundancy, but you try to make the query handling faster. So the So issues with the normalization are listed here. Normalization splits database information across multiple tables. To retrieve complete information from a normalized database, the join operations are to be used. Joins tends to be expensive in terms of processing time, and very large joins are very expensive. Not only time, it also takes huge memory. Why joins are taking huge memory? Anyone?
Sir, essentially join is a cross product with some conditions applied later on. So the more number of rows there are, more cross products we have to calculate.
All right. If there are m tuples in one relation and n tuples in another relation, while taking join, you will get a table with the m into n number of tuples with the number of columns in each of the tuples m plus n. I mean, whatever be the number of columns of the first table plus whatever be the columns of the second table. So you get a huge table. That means you require huge amount of memory because of the partition product which is occurring along with the join. So sometimes we may have to do a what do you call denormal and downward denormalization. Please look at this particular example and just see what is. So this is about a customer and order. So here you have a customer table and order table. Customer ID, address, name, and telephone number of the customer. All right, and the order number, date of order, date of dispatch, the date of invoice, and customer ID. So this is one table, and this is this is having less redundancy than this one, that is shown as after. So here you find that there are some changes in the thing, and it is done with some purpose. You can, I would like you to go through this carefully, and you have to tell me why this is required. Tarun, Damira, Tarun. Damira. Tamira, absent. Tamira is absent. Devendra. Devendra. Absent. Divyanshu. Divyanshu.
Yes, sir.
Can you just tell?
Sir, I think basically we have added customer name in order to reduce joins and to increase the performance of database.
No, no. What is happening in this example? You can
Sir,
just see before two tables, customer and order, and some changes are made. What is shown as after?
customer name is added.
Why? What you are getting out of it?
Sir, maybe to reduce join operations.
Join, how will you reduce? Okay. So in what way? I think
Uh,
Damira is back. Damira,
sir, I don't know.
okay. Devender,
Hello, am I audible,
Yeah.
sir?
yeah, you are going somewhere in between, Devender.
Yes, sir, to take the water.
I see. Okay.
So, what is the question, sir?
Anyway, I mean, you drink water, Devender.
Sorry, sir.
Divyanshu, are you back? Divyanshu is still away. Okay. Yeah, Sunita.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what you are getting out of this by adding customer name? What is there more redundancy or less redundancy?
More redundancy.
Yeah. So what is the need here, or what do you get out of adding customer name also in the order? Neither.
Yes, sir.
All right.
കോമഡി സാറ്
Vikram?
ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ദേവേന്ദ്രന്റെ അടുത്ത് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിച്ചപ്പോ ദേവേന്ദ്രൻ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല കേട്ടാ. എന്നിട്ട് കുറച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോ ദേവേന്ദ്ര വന്നു. അപ്പൊ സാറ് ചോദിച്ചു ഐ ഗോയിങ് എനിവേർ ഇൻ ബിറ്റ്വീൻ ചോദിച്ചു. അപ്പൊ ദേവേന്ദ്ര പറഞ്ഞു യെസ് ഐ വെന്റ് ടു ഗെറ്റ് വാട്ടർ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. എന്നിട്ട് ദേവേന്ദ്ര വാട്ട് ഈസ് എ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഒക്കെ എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചാ. അപ്പൊ സാറ് പറഞ്ഞു നോ യു ഡ്രിങ്ക് വാട്ടർ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് വേറെ ആളുടെ അടുത്ത് ചോദിച്ചു.
Okay. Who is speaking now? Hello. Who was speaking just now? Okay. Vikram. Vikram Deepak.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what you are getting out of adding customer name in order? So here we are seeing an example of denormalization. That means from a normalized table you are going back. Or let us make Vikram, can you answer it?
No, sir.
Or I am passing to the Mallu who was talking just now. Who was talking in Malayalam? Okay. Okay. I was just joking. Yeah. I think anyone please. Can anyone just say what you are getting out of? Yes.
Yeah, sir.
Who is-
We add the Megha, sir.
Megha. Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, we add the redundant data in the database to get rid of complex joining process. That's why we add the customer name column in that after table.
Yeah, Megha, here actually possibility is that every time people will be asking or they will try to find out the name of the person who placed the order. So here what happens is, or I would like to know how many orders when my, I just say that I place the, give me the dispatch date of my order, etc. So, but the name of the customer is in another table. Here you have only the order ID. But I mean, I may not be always telling the order number, or I may not remember the order number. I will just say I am so and so. I have ordered this item. Please, I am from Calicut, or I am from Kerala. I ordered this. Give me the details of delivery or when it was sent, etc. So again, you will be every time you have to take a join because the name is in another table. So name is going to be a frequent item in the search. So you, for convenience of or for avoiding redundancy, you put it in customer table and the order number, order ID or the customer ID connect these two. All right.
Yeah.
So the customer ID is something which I may not remember. I can say that this is my name and I placed an order on this date, please send. So it is better if you have customer name in the order table. Otherwise, you have to immediately take a join with the customer table and answer the query. So here you can avoid lot of join operations. So it is true that the customer name is repeated in the customer table as well as in the order table, but still this seems to be better. All right. Is it acceptable? Is it clear? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here we have actually gone for something called denormalization. All right. So apart from these these dependencies, functional dependency, multi-value dependency, and joint dependency, there are certain other types of dependencies. I think, yeah. So I think Deepak, your mic is on. Please mute your mic. So there is something called, there are other dependencies like embedded dependency, inclusion dependency, tuple generating dependency, etc. So can anybody say, all the meanings or every meaning of the data can be expressed using functional dependency, multi-value dependency, etc. Is there any meaning? Can anyone just say an example of something which you cannot express in terms of functional dependency or multi-value dependency? I think now it is the turn Lakshmi Shetty Satya. Is there anything which you cannot, can you give an example of something related to the meaning of data which you cannot express in FD, MVD, etc. But is very important in the database. Any example?
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay. Suppose I say that there is an award for a student. Okay. So there is an award for a student at NIT Calicut who got 5 S grades. The award goes to all those students who got 5 S grades in the first and second, totally 5 S grades in the first and second semesters of MTech. So how will you express this meaning or semantics? It is applicable for students of MTech. And if you got 5 S grades in total, the first and second semesters, you are eligible for an award or a scholarship. How will you, can you express it in using functional dependency, Manojina? Manojina, can you express it using FD? Manojina is not present. Fasil?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you express it using FD?
I don't get
What
any.
is the question, Fasil?
Sir,
Okay.
S grade, sir. It's a 5 S grade.
Yeah, 5 S
Person.
grade means you are eligible for a scholarship.
Fine, sir.
How do you express it in functional dependency? Neetu?
Sir, I think it cannot be expressed using functional dependency.
Okay, that is correct. That you cannot express it using functional dependency. Or multi-value dependency, Neetu? Can we express it using MVD?
I think no, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so there are many such things. Or if I say that there is a scholarship or there is something called first rank, a table is created as something called gold medalist. So the condition for being in the gold medalist table is that you should have the highest CGPA in your class or branch. So if your CGPA is the highest, then you are in the gold medalist table. So this gold medalist table is actually included in the student table. So the gold medalist table is actually a subset of the total students. But with the condition that all those who are appearing in the gold medalist table are having the highest CGPA in the respective classes. So this is actually a case which you cannot express in terms of functional dependency or multi-value dependency or even joint dependency. But it is a very important statement regarding the meaning of a data. I cannot put any, or the program that you are writing cannot put any random student into the gold medal table. You have to write a program, or the tuple in that particular table should be present in one of the student tables, and that student should have the highest CGPA. So that is actually something which is called embedded dependency, ED. ED means a tuple or some relation or some row appearing in a table should be embedded in another table. It should be as inclusion dependency. It should be included in another table. Now, there is more complicated conditions. For example, suppose I say that there is a condition that, yeah, let me frame a condition now. Prani Kumar, from, you are in which state? Praneet Kumar?
Sir, Andhra Pradesh.
Andhra Pradesh. Celeste?
Yes, sir.
You are from which state?
Maharashtra.
Maharashtra. Okay, suppose there is a condition that students from Maharashtra and students from Andhra Pradesh, if they are having CGPA above 8, all right, and if their income, annual family income is below 5 lakh, then they are eligible for some scholarship. All right. So there are conditions that they should belong to either the state of Andhra or they should belong to Maharashtra, and the CGPA should be above 8, then they are eligible for a particular scholarship. So it is actually a tuple generating dependency. That means in that scholarship table, so let us say it is something called, say, yeah, Uddhav Thackeray, Maharashtra Chief Minister, Thackeray Scholarship. So in that table, you will have only those couples from Andhra and Maharashtra having CGPA above 8 and having income, so with a particular bar. So this is actually called a tuple generating dependency. This is also a subset of ED, embedded dependency. So there are many such dependencies which are existing. So the functional, I am just making these statements or this example to just tell you that the functional dependency and multi-value dependency and the normalization till that are not the end of the normalization theory. There are many other dependencies like embedded dependency, which is having subsets like inclusion dependency, tuple generating dependencies, etc. All right. So there are these tuple generating dependencies can belong to multiple tables. You can have more complicated conditions. For example, let us say that there are some scholarships which are given only for girls, only for female students. And if they are coming from, say, a specific state, so the condition is that the gender should be female, the CGPA should be above this much, or it can be an or condition. So if it is present in one or two, either in table A or table B, they are eligible for something. So such things are actually very much relevant in database design with respect to the meaning of data, but they cannot be expressed using FT, MBD, etc. formally. So you go for ED. All right. So we are not going into more details of that. All right. And there is something called domain key normal form, DKNF. So there you have another dependency which is actually called domain dependency. I am leaving this as an exercise to you. Read more about DKNF and be prepared for answering any questions on domain key normal. A relational schema is said to be in DKNF only if all the constraints and dependencies that hold on a valid relation state, where a relation state can be enforced simply by enforcing the domain constraints and key constraints on the relation. I can just give an example with your roll number. Okay. Rahul, what is your roll number?
Sir, 201-306.
Not complete, Rahul.
Sir, M201306 CS.
Yeah, exactly. So M is actually for MTech. All right. And then finally the CS is for the computer science. So here you have a, what you call, you have some constraints in the roll number generation. That means there are, see, if you are a BTech student, the first letter should be B. And if you are an ECE student, the first letter, I mean, the last two characters should be EC. And if you are a PhD student, the first character should be P. So like that, this is actually an example where you have some constraints and dependencies. And the second and third positions are for the two-letter representations of the year of admission. So this is also related. I mean, I cannot write something other than M, B, P, etc. So P for PhD, M for MTech, and B for BTech. I cannot write, say, N, or I cannot write K as I like. So because there are some meanings associated with these three letters, P for PhD, M for MTech, and B for BTech. I cannot write K or X or Z or something, then it is invalid. So such constraints are actually expressed as domain, because the first character should be from the domain or the set M, B or P only. And the second and third characters should be digits starting from 00 to 99. All right. So you cannot have anything other than I mean out of this range. Similarly, the branch codes are also fixed at CC, EC for ECE, E for electrical, CS for computer, and you have production engineering, PE. So there are certain combinations allowed, others are illegal. So in DKNF, it becomes very straightforward to enforce all the database constraints by simply checking that each attribute value is a tuple, each value is a tuple, is of appropriate domain, and every key constraint is enforced. So you have domain sets. So you have a set for the valid program codes, that is MTech, BTech, PhD, etc. Or you have valid branch codes, so you should have the values from that. So read more about DKNF. So that is very important. That is given as an exercise for you. All right. Now let us quickly discuss regarding the projects that are assigned to you. We'll have a quick discussion. Okay, I will. I will. So the project list has been updated today. So our Leshe, Eklo Leshe, are you present today? Leshe, I think he's a very, very irregular student. So he did not, I don't know. So he did not enter the, did not give a response on time. So he is also assigned a project now and who is doing alone. So this, let me quickly give an overview of the project. So this is a very important activity in this course. It is a group activity and two students are doing it alone. All right. So all are data analysis projects. So you are on all projects are similar, and only thing is that the domain is different. All right. So the first set of projects, there are 5 projects on fake news data analysis. So here you will be, the domain given is actually fake news. So the fake news are a very big threat nowadays. So you have a lot of online social media where you get a lot of fake news. So 5 projects are there in this under this umbrella, and the mentor is Adida AB. So fake news detection model using visual information. All right, by looking at the visual information in the news, you develop techniques for classifying them as fake or real. Then a domain location based fake news detection system. By looking at the location information present in the news, you will be able to correctly say this news is fake or this is real. Then fake news detection model using user information. So there is a person who always creates, or he has a track history of publishing fake news. So, or by looking at this particular person, you can say that most probably this may be a fake news because of his track record and something like that. And fake news detection using conflicting viewpoints. By looking at the comments on that particular news, you will be able to conclude whether the news is fake or not. Then fake news spreader detection. So we have to classify someone and stamp them as a fake news spreader. So his job or his activity is to spread fake news and to give maximum publicity, maybe for hate spreading or communal clashes, maybe the intention of such person, or maybe a political activist who wants to campaign for false information by spreading fake information, false information about some political party or a leader or an individual, etc. So these 5 projects are will be mentored by Adija. So I mean, have you talked to Adira and fixed the time for the first discussion? Anyone, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When you are meeting Adira?
That's Friday.
Friday at what time?
Friday afternoon session.
Time you did not fix?
No. Didn't fix the timing, but she told that we are having the meeting on Friday afternoon.
Okay. So please fix a time and have a meeting, and thereafter every week you will have a meeting, and there will be there are 4 stages in the evaluation, and the marks can vary from 0 to full mark. So if you are not doing the work correctly, you will be getting, you won't be getting any mark. So let me make it very clear at the very beginning itself. So what is expected is given in the table. So the marks can vary from 0 to full marks. So these term projects are going to be very crucial in deciding the grades in this semester. And the remaining, so there are 5 projects under click fraud detection. This is on e-commerce or on economical fraud detection. So that is only the domain. Here also, basically, the work is on data analysis. So the supervisor or the mentor is Abhay Narayanan. So here the topics are you have to develop a tool to scrap product reviews from e-commerce sites. Second project is to develop a tool to scrap advertisement details clicked by users from web. So when you are looking at a particular page, a lot of advertisements will be coming. So this tool has to find out the list of frequently clicked advertisements from the users. And third one is a tool to scrap advertisement details clicked by users from social media platforms. Similar to the earlier one, but it is from social media platforms like after logging into Facebook or Instagram, which advertisements you are clicking, so that you have to scrap. Then fourth one is to development of a tool to scrap product details and reviews from dark web black market. So that will be quite interesting. You have to find out the advertisements which are click fraud. I mean, which are clicked by the users on advertisements which are coming from dark web black market. All right. Then final project in this list is actually technique to rank and discover the most influential sellers in the e-commerce. So from a given set, who are all the most influential sellers? I mean, whose advertisements are most getting clicked frequently and I mean, get their sales data. So all these 5 are related to e-commerce, in the e-commerce domain. All right. So did you contact Abhay Narayanan? Anyone from this group? Anyone from this group?
No, sir. We will contact, sir.
Do it today itself and fix a time and I mean, get the exact problem statement. So these are only the titles. You have to get the problem statement. Remember, within 2 months, you will be completing this activity so that well before the end semester examination, the evaluations of these projects are completed. And remember, it has got 30 marks. So this time, this is going to be the crucial or most, I mean, very important activity. And if you are doing it very well, probably it will be helpful to you helpful for you when you are deciding the topic for your MTech thesis also. Maybe you can extend this work further. So that is the idea. And so please contact Abhay Narayanan today itself, and he will be communicating to me. I don't have, I mean, he does not have your email IDs. So maybe each group can send an email to him and fix a time so that an email group can be formed for the click for detection projects. Now, the next category is on the domain health informatics. So this is basically about analyzing the data similar to the other two and doing some predictions. So prediction of diabetes from health informatics data, prediction of heart diseases, prediction of osteoporosis for thyroid patients, then stroke predicting systems and thyroid cancer predicting systems. So these 5 projects are supervised by Shafna. So you have contacted Shafna? Anyone, please?
No, sir. I thought of doing it after your introduction.
Okay. So these are also similar to the other one. So contact Shafna and fix a time and fix a weekly, I mean, first meeting. In the first meeting, you can decide the timing for other regular meetings. So every week you have to discuss and submit a report as well as make a presentation regarding what you have done in that particular project during that week. And there will be a weekly assessment, and finally you will have the deliverables where I will also be joining to get an update on the progress of the projects. All right, so please contact Shafna today itself. Now there are 3 projects on IoT data analysis. So that again will be an interesting area where you have Internet of Things, IoT, that is ad hoc network, where you have both mobile as well as static nodes. All right. So these projects are on IoT data analysis. The first project is on mobility networks within IoT. So you have certain moving nodes or mobile nodes in an Internet of IoT network. So you have to study the performance with increasing mobile nodes. If 10 mobile nodes are there or 15 are there, now it is increasing to 20, or all nodes are mobile. So how it is going to affect the performance parameters of the IoT. So second problem is diverse traffic patterns in networks within IoT thing, Internet of Things. That means when you have both static and mobile nodes, you have different patterns of communication. So how it is going to affect the performance of what are the different traffic patterns associated with IoT. Then scalability of networks with IoT, when the number of nodes in an IoT are increasing, in what way it is going to affect performance. So these 3 projects are on performance assessment or performance evaluation or performance study of an IoT with respect to certain tuning, with respect to the tuning of certain parameters. All right. So Jay Suraj is actually the supervisor or the point of contact for these projects. Please contact him today itself and get the details of the project. All right. Demira, you have contacted Jay Suraj. Demira is not present today. Fasil.
No, sir. You will contact today.
Vivek Roy, did you contact Jay Suraj? Vivek Roy, absent. Piyush Abhishek,
No, sir,
Vishal
not
Sharma?
contacted yet.
We will
The
contact
con-
today only. Yes,
Today
sir.
we will contact, sir.
Yeah, please contact today itself and fix a time, and you should start working on the project without any delay. Remember, you have only 2 months
Yes.
for the whole work. So start now so that you can finish early. Now, next two projects next projects are on social networks data analysis, out of which the first two projects are on video analysis. So you have fake videos, and in the fake videos, try to identify the fake audio, extract the audio part and check whether the audio is fake or not. Develop the logic for that. So that is the first project. And second one is a fake background detection. So you will be inserting a fake background on an already existing image to probably say that I have come to this particular place, or the background of the image will be changed with something else. So detecting the background image, whether it is fake or not, and extracting the audio of the video and check whether it is fake or not. These are the two problems under the fake video. And the other projects are a web application. Design and develop a web application to guide users on social networks to prevent cyberbullying crimes and guide them to use social media responsibly. So this is basically for children, or and the users can be parents. If you are trying to type some bad words, or if you are trying to replay to comments badly, immediately this tool should be able to give a warning to that you are using bad words. So it will be cyberbullying. So you will be booked for that. So the tool which will be monitoring the social media activities of probably children or people below 18, or the tool can be for parents to get information about the activity of their children on social media. Then second one is a tool to detect social engineering attacks like phishing in the online social networks. OSN means online social network chat. Phishing, you will be given some attractive web links, clicking, and you will be taken to some other websites. So a tool to detect that. Then the third project is on a web application to check if a person in Facebook, Instagram is trustable. So I am getting a friend request from say Shyam Mohan. So I don't know whether Shyam Mohan is a trustable person, or I want to decide whether I should make him a friend or not. How do I decide? Or I am getting a friend request in Instagram from Riya V. Ramesh. We don't have any common friends, or we don't have any common friends. So, but how do I know that Riya V. Ramesh is actually a trustable or trustworthy person? So we have to develop a tool for that. So that is actually the project given for Shyam Mohan and Riya. So this is actually all these 5 projects comes under social network analysis. So the first 2 projects will be guided by Needu Prem, and the last 3 will be guided by Muhammad Hadi. All right. So have you contacted them?
No, sir, we're waiting for the explanation. We'll contact today.
Other Shyam Mohan, you have contacted them.
No, sir, we'll contact today.
All right. Karthik, contacted? Karthik is absent. Yukta,
No, sir, we'll contact today, sir.
Suman, Saurav, not present. Vishal,
Yes, sir. We will contact very soon, sir. Today itself.
Chetana,
Yes, sir. We will contact today.
Kunal, Kunal, not present. Ria,
Yes, sir. We'll contact today, sir.
okay. So contact Needu, Prem and other Hadi today itself and get the problem defined. So they have given, I mean, we have given only the title here. You have to find out exactly the problem and you have to discuss with them and formulate the problem. I think Leshe, Heklo Leshe. So I think he is absent. So this is a problem given to him. He is asked to prepare a medicine stock management system for a primary health center. So this will also be a web-based data analysis tool. Then Ajwad is working on a development of a tool or a web-based secure content management system for a closed group of so yeah, that's all about the project. And I think you have gone through the instructions also. Have you gone through the instructions?
I have a doubt. What about the term paper, sir? How we can publish it?
Yeah, at the end of, I mean, if you go through the deliverables, you might have noticed that we will decide. I mean, I will tell you how to publish that, etc. So there should be some amount of innovation in your work, at least your algorithm or you should have some results so that it is publishable. So if you are able to publish the work, you will get more weightage for your work. Right? So are you able to see the instruction slide? Are you seeing the
Yes, sir.
instructions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Instruction. Term project instructions. You are viewing that window, isn't it?
We can see
This
it.
is
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
all right. Okay. So I have given the email IDs of all the vendors. So mail them. And so there are 4 stages. First, you have to define the problem clearly, and you have to identify the scope and preliminary algorithms are to be delivered by the 7th March. You can do it earlier also, but the deadline given is 7, and there you will get 10 marks. If you are not doing it, it can be even 0. And the detailed design algorithms, etc., are to be delivered on 28th. That will be for a 5 marks evaluation. And the demonstration, first demo need to be completed on 7. That there you will get 5 marks. And finally, the final demo with the technical report or the paper that you are talking about just now are to be delivered on 29th. So then the marks for the whole project will be published. All right. So I suggest that the A+ slot that Tuesday 1 to 2 is free for all of you. Maybe I will stop class by 12:30, and immediately after that you can have a discussion with them also. It is only a suggestion, but you can fix any convenient time, any time convenient for the whole group. You work out a time, maybe you can have a representative for each of coordinating with the vendor. So I think everyone need not write separately to them. Elect a group leader sort of thing, and they can communicate with they can be the liaison between the vendor and the project teams. Okay. So each of these groups, please find out a common person who can do the coordination or who can fix the timing, etc. with the so I think what I would like again to get the help of Megha. Megha, you may please give me the name and email ID of the coordinators for each of these groups. Megha, are you there?
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, you will be able to do it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for fake news analysis and click fraud detection, and for health informatics, IoT data analysis, and social network analysis. You find a coordinator for each of those categories and give me their email ID. So their name and email ID, please share. Maybe the mobile number
Okay,
also.
sir.
I will share it with
Okay.
these people.
Okay,
All right.
sir.
For the last two projects, you need not, because they are doing individually. I will contact them
Yeah.
directly. But for other groups, I need the email ID and mobile number along with their name. Please send me
Okay,
as
sir.
a Excel table or Word table, or share it as a Google Doc.
Okay.
Share it with them. All right.
Okay.
Any other questions regarding the project?
Sir, first three deliverables will be presentation, right?
Yeah, there will be presentations in all the four, along with the report. You will be submitting the report 1 or 2 days before the deadline, and on these specific days you will be presenting, discussion will be taking place, and there will be evaluations individually. The report can be common for the project, but the presentations will be by the members of the group individually. Any other question?
Is there any specific format for the deliverable?
Specific format for
Deliverable, so that was about how to the introduction, that all you have to add conclusion and
louder, please, Vishal.
so what other things that we should add to the projects, such as introduction, conclusion, and all other things?
Yeah, actually, you talk to the mentor, they will be giving you templates for submitting the reports. So here we are not looking at the volume of the report, but actually the content.
Okay, sir.
We will have very small reports as far as possible, but we will be checking the content thoroughly.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
And
sir.
avoid copy pasting from existing literature wherever possible. All right. Try to write the sentences by your own. We are expecting sentences written by you, not a copy paste report.
So we should check every steps of plagiarism.
Pardon me?
So we should check every steps of plagiarism that is present in our project, sir.
Yeah, plagiarism can come only in the initial stage. Maybe while your scope, defining the scope. The rest of the thing is your own work.
Okay.
So from who on, design cannot be plagiarized, or it should not be plagiarized. Then other things are actually your demo and your own contributions. Plagiarism can come probably in the first part, but we are not expecting very, very detailed write-ups. Final one will be a technical report, but there again the plagiarism is very important. So it should be the complete report on the project. There we should not have any plagiarism. There are tools like Turnitin, where we can check the amount of plagiarism present in your report. Any other
Thank you,
question?
sir.
Yeah, Vishal. Any other question? Okay, so please contact the mentors today itself